Hello my friends, I would like to welcome you here in our stand of Expo 2017 here in Athens in Hotel Show 100%. First, welcome you here in Develime kiosk. What I'm going to do today is introduce you to our products, our series of products, new ones and old ones. But first, let me tell you a few things about our company. Our company has its roots in 1922, where the DEVETZOGLOU family built its first factory of lime production. And now, almost 10 years ago, they started developing new products based on lime for micro toppings. This came along with a collaboration with the Archaeology Department of the University of Crete, where they asked about developing a lime resin that they found in ancient marbles in between some columns. So we created this lime-based resin, and with this resin we found out that we could use it in building materials, so we could give some better abilities in our products. So I will start by introducing you to our first most popular products, which the different is the size of their grain, of the final grain of the material. It starts from 100 microns and rises up to 600 microns, and this gives the final effect of the surface be more smooth or more rough surface. Starting from the finest grain is smooth SM, as we call it, where it's a cement-based product, and on top of it we have a lime coat, which gives us this very smooth effect. It can be used in interior and exterior surfaces, floors and walls, bathroom, kitchens, whatever, wet areas, but it is a bit slippery maybe for use outside. This depends on the user. The color palette of all these products is close to unlimited. We have reached up to 1,800 colors till now. So for us there is no limitation in coloring our materials. This is the material Vario 200, maybe the most popular here that we use. The size of the grain is about 200 microns, which makes it maybe the most popular to use due to its ability not to be so slippery as the one I showed you before, and not to be so rough that it will hold inside stains and dirt because of its surface. It can be used interior, exterior, in wet areas, and the color variation is unlimited. The next material is Vario 400, where the size of the grain in this case is 400 microns. So this you can see here on the surface that it's very obvious the grain of the material. This gives a small roughness on the surface, and this makes it more suitable for use exterior, less interior, but surely for exterior it's less slippery. The abilities of the material are the same as before, as Vario 200, but it's a bit more secure to use outside. The toughness of the material is a bit higher, so it can be used also in harder circumstances. Here is our final material of Vario series, which is Vario 600 with a grain of 600 microns, where it's very obvious the size of the grain of the material. This is only for use outside because it's really rough and it's maybe the most anti-slippery material we have. It can withhold inside the grain some dirt, but it can be very easily removed with a water machine gun. All of these series material that are going in the floors and bathrooms are very well protected with a sealer that penetrates all the volume of the material. So this gives us the result that even if it's scratched or if it's damaged, there won't be any formation of stain on top of it or in the volume of the material. This is a new product of our company, Microterrazzo, and its size is about half a centimeter thick. It comes in many colors. The filler inside in between the stones comes in unlimited colors, and we can choose between some colors of the grains. This material can be used in floors and staircases, but still we cannot use it on creating walls because there is a technical difficulty on how to grind it and polish it on a wall. For the Microterrazzo material, here we have samples of different stones and different colors of the filler of the material. Next one is stone carpet. Stone carpet is maybe the simplest material that we have. It's basically natural stones, natural grains, and resins. Good quality of resins, so this won't be any peel off the material. This can be used in external surfaces for creating corridors, floors that we don't care about dirt. It can be very easily be cleaned with a water gun on the surface directly. There is no danger in removing the material from the floor. Next one is lithos. Lithos is a lime paint that can be used directly on a plaster surface, either with a trowel, with a brush, with a roller, and it can be used by different techniques with trowels. This depends on the applier and the ability he has on using this kind of materials. The effect depends on how you use it. Here we have a more traditional technique. This is applied by a trowel, and it's up to the applier's hand to do it however he wants. It's very easy to apply. Our clients can use the NCS palette to choose whatever color they wish. Next material is fine. Here is maybe the finest material that we have. The grain is so thin that it can be very easily be polished until grit 4000, and that's why all this shiny comes. It's a bit difficult to apply, but the result is extraordinary. This has no sealer on top of it. That's why it can absorb CO2 from the atmosphere. It can regulate humidity in an interior space, but we cannot use it inside a wet area, inside bathrooms, because there is no sealer. It may be a bit dangerous to use it in a wet area. Same as before, the palette that we use to have for this material is the NCS. So we can have our customer choose between the exterior palette of the NCS colors. A different series of our material is BSF. BSF is a completely cement-based material, a more classic way of creating these micro-cement toppings. So this has a grain of about 400 microns. This is suitable for using in walls, interior and exterior. This is another product of BSF material. This is also completely cement-based, but this can be used in floors and walls, interior and exterior, and also in wet areas. The grain of the material is quartz, and in the size of 400 microns. A different series of our material, this one we call it Wall 400, is completely lime-based. and with a grain of quartz also, and with a size of about 400 microns, this can be used only for walls, inside and outside. This gives the effect of a stone with small pores. It's very easy to apply, and it's one component material, so it's basically for the applier, just take the material and use it directly on the wall that wants to cover. The client can choose colors for this material by NCS palette. Further, this material is not yet suitable for using inside wet areas, inside bathrooms. This material is smooth, as we call it. It's suitable for walls, and it can be used interior and exterior. And the size of the grain of this material is very fine, and depends on the applicator, can be used like this, have this busy effect, or a very smoother, very much more quiet effect. The colors also for this material can be used from the NCS palette. This material, we call it Eco Wall. It's a lime-based material. The thickness of the material is about 2 millimeters, and it can be used for walls inside and outside. For application is maybe the easiest material, and it gives options to the applier on how to use it, on how to grind it, or just sand it, or even polish it. It can give a very shiny effect if we choose to polish it up to 1000 grit, or we can just leave it as is, and it gives this more traditional surface. The client can choose from the NCS palette. Here is the same material as before, but with a different technique and with a different finishing. We have the mist trowel technique, and in the finishing, before polishing, we have the addition of spraying the material to give this effect of an old wall. The color palette is again the same, the NCS palette. This material is Eco Wall copper. It's the same as the previous one, but we have used a copper wax, so this gives a copper shine effect. Next material I'm going to show you is the one called concrete. Concrete is a 4 millimeters thick material that gives the effect of a solid concrete wall.